She handed me a pen and said, "Just your signature, like always." I looked at the form and saw my social security number typed neatly under hers. That's when I realized she hadn't needed me. She'd owned me. My hand stopped. The pen hovered just an inch above the paper. "Lawrence, everything all right?" Melinda, my sister, chirped. She tapped her acrylic nail on the glass-top desk. "We haven't got all day. Mr. Davies has another closing." I looked at the man across from us. He just smiled, a polite, empty smile. This was the 8th signing this year. Or was it the 9th? For 11 years, ever since my wife Martha passed, Melinda had dragged me to these meetings. "You're my lucky charm, Lori. Every time you're with me, the deal closes." I was a 72-year-old widower, a former bookkeeper, her lucky charm. I looked back at the paper. It wasn't a closing disclosure. It wasn't a deed. It was a loan application, a multi-signature commercial loan. The amount was $840,000. My blood felt like ice water. My chest tightened. All the other times, all the papers I'd signed without reading. "Just here, Lori. Just your name, sweetie." My social security number, she had it. She must have had it for years. "Lawrence," she said, her voice a little sharper, "sign." I signed it. And then I did what I always did. "I'll need my copy," I said. My voice was a croak. Melinda's smile wavered. "Oh, sweetie, it's just a file copy. You don't need—" "I need my copy," I repeated, louder. Mr. Davies, the banker, cleared his throat. "It's standard practice, of course." He pressed a button on the printer. A moment later, a sheet slid out, a carbon copy. I took it. I folded it. I put it in the inside pocket of my jacket. I walked out of that high-rise office. I didn't wait for her. I didn't wait for the elevator. I took the stairs. 17 flights. I was halfway down when I had to stop. I leaned against the concrete wall of the stairwell, the smell of stale paint and disinfectant. She hadn't needed a lucky charm. She'd needed a co-signer, a ghost, a name with good credit and no questions. I had no idea how much worse it was. I had no idea what I had just signed away. That was just the beginning. I got to the parking garage. My 1998 Toyota Camry looked small and sad next to her car, a gleaming black Mercedes, a G-Wagon. She'd told me it cost more than my house. I thought she was bragging. I was wrong. She was telling me a fact. I drove home. The house was quiet. Too quiet. It had been too quiet for 11 years. Martha and I bought this place in 1978, a small 3-bedroom brick house. We paid it off in 2005. It was all I had, or it was what I thought I had. I sat at the kitchen table, the one Martha had refinished herself. I unfolded the paper. $840,000. I thought about my pension, my Social Security, my small savings account. I was a man who lived on $2,400 a month, and I had just co-signed. I called her. She picked up on the second ring, all cheerful. "There's my lucky charm. Didn't I tell you? Deal's done." "Melinda," I said. My voice was flat. "That was a loan application." The line went silent, just for a second. "Oh, Laurie, sweetie, don't you worry your little head about that. It's just a formality." "It had my Social Security number on it, Melinda." "Of course it did," she said like I was a child. "It's just to show family backing. It means nothing. It just greases the wheels. You know how banks are." "Greases the wheels?" "Lawrence, don't be difficult." Her voice turned cold, fast. You know I take care of everything. I've been taking care of you since Martha died. Don't make this unpleasant." The threat. It wasn't even veiled. I hung up. I looked at my pension statement on the counter. I thought of her lawyers, her connections. She was the real estate queen of the Tri-County area. She had billboards. I was just an old man in a quiet house. I looked at the phone. I thought about calling the police. What would I say? My sister tricked me? They'd left me out of the building. She owned me, and I had let her. She had all the power, all the money, all the lawyers. But she didn't know one thing about me. She didn't know about my basement.
My basement isn't much. Concrete floor, cinder block walls. It smells like damp earth and laundry soap, but it's organized. Martha, my late wife, she was the organized one. A librarian. She believed in systems. A place for everything and everything in its place, she'd say. I just kept it up. After she passed, it was a way to feel close to her. Along the far wall, there are 4-drawer filing cabinets. Gray metal. They're not for anything important. Old warranties, tax returns from the 90s, manuals for appliances I don't even own anymore. And in the back of the 4th cabinet, a drawer labeled Personal. And in that drawer, a folder for every year. 2013, 2014, 2015. And in each folder, another folder, labeled Melinda. I was a bookkeeper by trade, not a fancy one. I worked at a local hardware store, Miller's Hardware, for 40 years. And we used carbon copies for everything. Purchase orders, invoices, special requests. It was a habit, a reflex. Always keep your copy, Lawrence, Mr. Miller used to say. Paper doesn't forget. I never stopped. I pulled out the folder for 2013. The first signing she'd taken me to. Just for fun, Lori. Get you out of the house. There it was, a thin pink carbon copy. A promissory note. I hadn't even read the title then. I just signed where she pointed. I pulled 2014. 2 copies. 2015. 3. I carried them upstairs, all of them. I spread them out on the dining room table. The lucky charm ritual. It started 6 months after Martha's funeral. I was a wreck. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. Melinda became helpful. Come on, Lawrence. Be my lucky charm. It'll be good for you. You'll see, my little angel. It felt good to be needed, to be someone's something, even a lucky charm. I looked at the papers. Just sign here, Lucky Charm. It's just for the file, Lori. I remembered a family dinner, Christmas, maybe 5 years ago. My niece, Melinda's daughter, asked what I did. Melinda had laughed, a big booming laugh. She'd ruffled my hair. I was 67 years old. Oh, Uncle Lawrence just likes his little routines. He doesn't understand the big picture. That's why he has me. She'd said it with a smile. Everyone smiled. I looked at the dining room table. It wasn't 1 loan. It wasn't 2.
It was 24. 24 separate applications. Promissory notes. Co-signer agreements. I sat down. Hard. The total. I got out my calculator. The one I used at the hardware store. The numbers were big. I added them up. Twice. My name, my social security number, my good credit was attached to $9.7 million in commercial real estate loans. My stomach dropped. I mean, it literally dropped. I had to stand up and walk to the bathroom. I thought I was going to be sick. The house Martha and I bought in 1978 was now collateral. My pension was collateral. My life was collateral. I sat there all night, just looking at 11 years of my signature, 11 years of a lie. She thought I was just a sad old man, a lucky charm. She forgot what I was. I was a bookkeeper. And bookkeepers, we keep the receipts. The pile was staggering. I didn't just need a calculator, I needed a lawyer. That's when I realized what I had to do.
My plan wasn't fast. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. It was meticulous. It was me. The next morning, I didn't call Melinda. I didn't call the police. I called legal aid. I thought it would be like TV, a sharp lawyer in a suit. Instead, I got Sarah. Sarah Klein. She was young, maybe 30. Her office smelled like stale coffee and old files, and she wore a sweater that was pilled at the cuffs. She looked tired, but she listened. I brought the files, not all of them, just the last 3 years. I stacked them on her desk. "Mr. Lawrence," she said, looking at the top one, "this is a significant loan. There are 23 more like it in my basement." She stopped. She looked up from the paper, and she saw me. "Tell me everything," she said. I talked for an hour. About Martha, about the lucky charm, about the signing yesterday, about the phone call. She didn't interrupt. She just took notes. When I was done, she leaned back. "Okay, we have options. We can report it. Identity theft, fraud. It's a criminal case. We go to the DA." I shook my head. "No." She looked surprised. "No. Mr. Lawrence, this is textbook." "She's my sister. I don't want her in jail. I don't want a trial." "This is important. You need to understand this. I wasn't looking for revenge. Not then. I was looking for a way out. What I want," I said, "is for her to never be able to use my name again. Ever. I want my house safe. I want my pension safe. I want to be free of her." Sarah tapped her pen. "Okay, not a criminal case. A civil one. But not a lawsuit. Something quieter." She leaned forward. "We can get a legal guardian, or a financial power of attorney, a durable one. You sign over control of your finances to a third party." "Who?" "Me," she said. "Or someone from our office. A court-appointed guardian. It legally invalidates any prior assumed consent, and it puts a steel wall around your assets. She can't touch you, even if she has your signature." "This is the path," I said. It took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of paperwork. This is the part they don't show in the movies. The grind. I had to mow the lawn. I had to pay my electric bill. I had to go to the grocery store on Tuesday, senior discount day. In between, I was at Sarah's office, signing forms, getting my finances audited. It cost me $800 from my savings. Money Martha and I had saved for a trip to the Grand Canyon. A trip we never took. I spent 3 hours at the courthouse on a hard wooden bench waiting for a clerk to stamp a single piece of paper. Here's the thing. While I was doing all this, Melinda called. "Laurie, I've got a new property, a beautiful duplex near the university. The signing is Friday. I'll pick you up at 10. We'll get brunch." Cheerful, sweet, like nothing had happened, like she hadn't threatened me. My hand gripped the phone, the old beige landline. "No, Melinda," I said. Silence. "What?" "I won't be coming." "What do you mean, no? Don't be silly. It's our tradition. You're my—" "I'm busy, Melinda."
The line went silent, but a different kind of silent, a cold one. "Lawrence," she said, and her voice was sharp. "Don't be a fool. I need you there. You know how these things work." "No," I said. "I don't think I do." I hung up. The next day, she showed up at my house. The black Mercedes was parked at my curb. It looked obscene, like a vulture parked outside a church. She didn't knock. She used her key, the key I gave her after Martha died. For emergencies, Lori. I was in the kitchen, making tea. "What is this, Lawrence?" she said. She wasn't smiling. This little rebellion." I just looked at her. I held my teacup. "I'm not signing anymore, Melinda." And then she did the one thing that proved she didn't know me at all. She laughed. A real, sharp laugh. "You silly, silly man. It doesn't matter. It's all just paperwork. Family helps family. You've always helped me. You'll get over this mood." She patted my cheek. "I'll see you next week. I'll text you." And she left. She wasn't worried. She genuinely believed I was just having a tantrum. She believed she was untouchable. That was her flaw, her fatal flaw. She thought family loyalty was a one-way street. She thought it made her immune. She was wrong. 2 days later, Sarah called. "It's done," she said. "The durable power of attorney is filed with the court. Your finances are officially locked down. I am now your legal financial guardian." A wave of something washed over me. Not victory. Relief. Just relief. Like I'd been holding my breath for 11 years. "So what now?" I asked. "Do I tell her?" "You don't tell her anything," Sarah said. Her voice was hard. "Now we report the fraud. Not to the police, to the banks." This was her idea, the quiet plan. "We send them a certified letter to each one. We include a copy of the POA, and we include a certified letter contesting the validity of every single loan with your name on it. We declare them fraudulent." What happens then? I heard her smile over the phone. "Then, Mr. Lawrence, they'll call her loans, all of them, all at once. Banks don't like the word fraud, especially when it's in writing from a lawyer." This wasn't about jail. This was about logic. Her empire was built on my name. I was taking my name back. We spent a week drafting the letters, 7 letters for 7 different banks. We included copies, my filed carbon copies, my Social Security statements, my pension statements, proof. Proof that I was a bookkeeper, not a real estate mogul. We sent them, certified mail, return receipt requested. By October 15th, everything was in place. The letters were sent. Melinda, she had no idea what was coming. I was in the kitchen when the boiler clanked, loudly, a horrible grinding sound, and then silence. The pilot light was out. Of course. The week my life was imploding, the heat goes out. I sat there in the cold kitchen. It was October. It was getting cold. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. Even my house was giving up. I put on a sweater. I called a repairman. He said it would be $347 for a new thermocouple, money I didn't really have. "Fine," I said. "Just fix it." I was drinking lukewarm tea when the first call came. It wasn't Melinda. It was a man a Mr. Henderson, Vice President of Commercial Lending at First National Bank. His voice was not happy. "Mr. Lawrence, we've received some disturbing documents from your legal guardian, a Ms. Sarah Klein." "Yes," I said. "We need you to come in, immediately, to discuss these loans. Your sister, Ms. Melinda, will also be present." This was it. "I'll be there," I said. "And Miss Klein will be with me." The bank was all marble and quiet whispers. It smelled like old money and floor wax. Melinda was already there, in a sharp red suit. She looked annoyed, not scared, annoyed. She saw me and Sarah. "Lawrence, what is this?" she snapped. "Who is this girl? Are you paying her with my money?" My money. The audacity, the sheer audacity of it. "She's my lawyer, Melinda," I said. Mr. Henderson came out. He didn't smile. He led us into a boardroom, a long polished table. 2 other suits were there, bank lawyers. They didn't look up. This was public. This was real. Mr. Henderson put a file on the table. It was my letter, my copies. "Melinda," he said, and his voice was cold. "We have a problem." He slid a paper toward her. "This is a loan for $1.2 million from 6 months ago, co-signed by your brother, Lawrence." Melinda smiled, that bright billboard smile. "Yes, my lucky charm. He's very supportive of my work." "Mr. Lawrence," Henderson said, looking at me. Before I could speak, Sarah spoke. "I'm Sarah Klein," she said. Her voice was clear and loud in the quiet room. "I am Mr. Lawrence's court-appointed financial guardian," as she placed her own file on the table. "As of October 11th, Mr. Lawrence no longer has the capacity or legal right to sign such documents." Melinda's smile twitched. "Furthermore," Sarah said, "Mr. Lawrence is contesting this signature and the previous 24 loans as fraudulent." I spoke. My voice was quiet, but it cut through the room. "You told me they were formalities, Melinda." Her head snapped toward me. "You told me it was just for the file." I pulled one carbon copy from my own briefcase, the first one, from 2013. "Like this one? The one you said was for fun?" Melinda's face. It didn't crumple. It froze. The color drained from her cheeks. Her lipstick looked suddenly clownish. She looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time. Not as a charm, not as a fool, but as a threat. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Mr. Henderson looked at his lawyers. They gave a single tiny nod. Authority, validation. "Miss Melinda," Henderson said. His voice had no warmth at all. "Given this dispute and the legal filing from Miss Klein, we are freezing all your commercial accounts, effective immediately." "What?" she whispered. "And we are calling your outstanding loans, all of them. They are due in full in 30 days. The composure cracked. "You can't!" she shrieked. The whisper was gone. That's millions!" "9.7 million with this bank alone," one of the suits said, not even looking up from his notepad. "Lawrence," she turned to me. Her eyes were wide. Panic. Raw panic. Tell them you're my lucky charm. Tell them it's a mistake. Lawrence, it's me." This was the moment. The power shift. 11 years of it. I just looked at her. "I'm not your lucky charm, Melinda. I was your bookkeeper. and you were a bad investment. I stood up. My knees popped, but I stood up straight. Sarah stood up. Miss Klein has all my documents, I said to Mr. Henderson. I will not be paying 1 cent of her debt. Melinda started to cry. Big, theatrical sobs. He's old. He's confused. He doesn't know what he's saying. She's taking advantage of him. Mr. Henderson just looked at her. Ma'am, we have 11 years of identical, questionable signatures. We have carbon copies. And we have a legally filed, court-ordered power of attorney. He stood up. We will be conducting a full audit of your entire portfolio. Security will see you out. She stared at me. The sobs stopped. Just cold, pure hatred. You've ruined me, she hissed. No, Melinda, I said. I was already at the door. You ruined yourself. I just kept the receipts. I walked out. Sarah held the door for me. I didn't look back. The bank was just the first domino. Within 48 hours, everyone knew.
The other 6 banks followed suit, like a chain reaction. Here's the thing about empires like Melinda's. They're built on leverage, on debt. She used one loan to pay for another, a classic house of cards. When the first card was pulled, the whole thing came down. To pay First National, she had to default on the others. She tried to sell properties, but the market was slow, and the banks, they didn't give her time. Her empire collapsed in 22 days. The black Mercedes, repossessed. The high-rise office, the bank seized it. Her face wasn't on billboards anymore. It was in the legal notices section of the paper. Notice of foreclosure. And me? Sarah handled the separation. It was beautiful in a legal way. My name was cleared. The banks, eager to avoid a massive fraud lawsuit, wrote off the fraudulent debt. They blamed Melinda. They scrubbed my credit. They sent me letters, apologies. My house, Martha's house, was safe. I was debt-free, truly, for the first time in 11 years. I was in my kitchen, reading one of the letters, when the phone rang. It was my niece, Melinda's daughter, Emily. Uncle Lawrence, she said. Her voice was small. Hello, Emily. I just wanted to say, I believe you. I closed my eyes. Mom, she always had to win, no matter what. I'm sorry. Thank you, Emily, I said. Would you like to come over? For tea? She came over. We had tea in my warm kitchen. The boiler was fixed. It was nice. Was it hard? Yes. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. Harder than losing Martha in some ways. That was grief. This was a fight. I'd lost my sister. But the truth is, I'd lost her 11 years ago. The moment she saw me as a tool, not a brother. I just didn't know it. Was it worth it? I looked around my quiet house. The house I almost lost. I thought about my pension, safe. I thought about sleeping through the night without that cold knot of dread in my stomach. Yes, it was. A month later, I was in the basement. But I wasn't filing papers. I was sorting Martha's old things. Her sewing box, her photo albums, her clothes. I had held onto them for so long, frozen in grief, held hostage by the past. Now, it felt different. It felt like just stuff. Emily, my niece, was there. She was helping me. She picked up a photo. Me and Martha. At the beach. 1982. Grandma Martha was beautiful, she said. Yes, I said, smiling. A real smile. She was. I picked up a heavy box of old sweaters. To take to Goodwill. Let me get that, Uncle, Emily said. No. I said, I've got it. It was heavy, but I carried it up the stairs. I was stronger than I thought. I put the box in my car. I looked back at the house. My house. I wasn't a lucky charm. I wasn't a victim. I was just Lawrence. And for the first time in a very long time, I was free. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, comment, and smash the subscribe button. Also, check out other videos on the channel. Joe's got more interesting stories for you.